regular scheduled meeting of the Board of Control will come to order. First order of business is to establish a quorum. We do have, I think, 7 or 6 of the 8 members present, so we have a quorum. We don't have any guest speakers today, my understanding. Is that correct, Mr. Tobin? No guest speakers and no public comment. We'll go right to the approval of the agenda.
Moment of meditation, perhaps.
Pardon?
Moment of meditation.
Oh, meditation now? Oh, I sure did, I'm sorry. Let's all pause for a moment of meditation at this time of the year. Thank you. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the November 25th agenda. And has everybody had time to review the agenda? I think so. We have a motion to approve the agenda as written by Mr. Neal. Excuse me, we have a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. Okay, we have a nice agenda for today. First thing I'd like to say to John and Kathy, I think everybody realizes that we're starting to get all of our information regarding the board meeting and the various reports in a very timely fashion, since we're now using USPS for the most part to deliver all the materials. So I want to thank John, because I know we all did have a problem in the past months with that, but now we're getting them on time.
Just those of you who live north of Shreveport would have this problem.
I said, well, ours was coming by carrier pigeon, and I'm going to tell the board right now, we were getting our material in the mail the day after the board meeting. So now we're getting them USPS, and that's good. So we're getting it a week or two in advance. With that, that brings us to the next part, which is well, I don't see it on the agenda. We have the approval of the minutes for the September 23rd? Yes, we do. And everybody did get their material on time, so if there's no comments or any corrections, do we have any comments or
Correction.
Okay, Neil?
The guests for that meeting, we have Mr. Fant and Mayor Fant. Mr. Fant, his first name is Major, M-A-J-O-R. And Mayor Fant is Jennifer.
Well, you put that.
Everybody else has the first name.
Major, M-A-J-O-R.
Is that his real name, or is that
That's
his?
his real name.
Okay. Not military designation.
Anything else, Mr. Neil?
Oh, that's it. Thank you.
That's it. Anyone else? Okay. With that change of the name, the correction, if there are no other corrections to be made on the minutes to the previous meeting of September the 23rd, oh, yes.
It's not a correction to the minutes per se, just a typo. That okay?
Yes.
It says staring instead of starting. On page 4, under motion, Don Howard moved to approve the proposed 2019 staring pay.
Where was it, Dolores, on page 4?
For, in the middle of the page, Don Howard, with the indentations of Don Howard. Moved and Janet Hicks seconded the motion to approve the proposed 2019 staring pay. Oh, it's just starting.
Yes, there's a T missing.
It's a T, isn't it? That's all. That's all I thought. Did a great job. That's all I thought. Thank you, Gordon.
I had to look at it twice to see it missing.
Okay, I'm going to wait, since this is my last meeting as president, I'm going to wait for Julia to find that T. You got it? Okay, we have a name change and a T for 2019 starting pay increase. And I'm going to ask again, do we have any other corrections to the minutes for the 23rd meeting, September 23rd. And if not, as everybody's had an opportunity to read it, without objection, we'll go ahead and approve the meeting minutes to the 23rd meeting with the changes recommended. Item number 5, we have no unfinished business. So we'll move on right to item number 6, which is the proposed policy revisions and updates, and Roman numeral I, the donated leave policy revisions. So if everybody has that in front of them, you can see highlighted in yellow that there's really only one revision under the guidelines, and that is the personal or family health-related emergency now means life-threatening or terminal injury, illness or injury of the employee or an immediate family member. And Mr. Tuggle, would you explain what the intent was there?
Actually, the critical or catastrophic always meant that poses a threat to life and/or requires inpatient or hospital health care if you're looking. So what we've done is actually remove the clause from the end of that sentence and use those terms at the beginning and remove critical or catastrophic and now say life-threatening or terminal illness to help clarify exactly what is required to be qualified for donated leave.
Okay. I do have one question. In looking at the immediate family members defined as a spouse, domestic partner, child, parent, or other relationship with the employee is the legal guardian or sole caretaker. Would this also include, say, one spouse or partner, their mother or daddy? I'm just curious. I don't want that to come up as an issue that my wife's mother gets deathly ill and I'm needed to help take care. I'm out of sick leave. Would that qualify under the new policy?
As it's written, I do not believe so.
Unless you're their sole caretaker.
Unless they're the sole.
Unless you would be the sole
Sole
caretaker.
caretaker.
Okay, of that individual, okay. Is everybody comfortable with that? I am. Anybody else have a comment?
Is that spelled out anywhere though, that, what Danny just said?
Yes, it's in that statement. Immediate family member is defined as spouse, domestic partner, child, parent, or another
Oh, yes,
relationship in which you're the
Or sole
legal guardian.
care.
or sole care.
Okay. But if it was my immediate family, my mother or father, it would automatically be considered okay. Does anyone have any objections? If not, we're going to take these one at a time. I'm not going to do it in total. We'll do them one at a time. Do we have a motion to approve the change in the sick leave donation policy? Julia moves.
Second.
Got a second by Neil. The motion before the board is to approve the sick leave donation policy and procedures as amended in the document. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No opposed? Motion carries. Next item, Roman numeral 2, the collection development policy revision. And I want you all to know, I did read that, and when I saw the word collection, I thought they meant money at first. But I come to realize that the collection was something very interested in reading, particularly when I read about what the American Library Association had to say about many of the things that affected collections. So I'll give everybody a second to get their thoughts together in case they have some questions about the collection development policy revision.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Shannon?
What prompted the revision of the selection of the collection development policy?
I wouldn't call it a revision necessarily. We had it in pieces, parts all over the place, and it was just, this is an attempt to bring it all together and put it in one document. So,
Because it looks pretty standard, I was wondering what changed. It was, yeah.
My
I do that
understanding,
every day, so
yeah, my understanding, Shannon, in the opening statement was that it was fragmented. There was separate little pieces of the policy all over the place. And what they did was put it together into one comprehensive document that would flow easily and describe all of the parts of the collection development policy.
It's one of those little things that probably should have been done a long time ago and just kept getting pushed aside for other things that, you know, the tyranny of the urgent kept pushing things aside.
Plus, we're making another book overdue 84 years and need to deal with that, so, you know.
Anyone else?
I just would like to comment that the policy sounds very good and concise, and it sounds, you know, very open, which is what we need.
I
Ms.
agree
Dolores?
with you, Julie, and it's a good thing that you all did put it all in one place, because I didn't, we wouldn't want to, I mean, we have to look at it, with everyone's had it scattered all over the place, so that's good. But I wanted to ask, okay, we have a mobile library, but with the mobile, make it take unit that's not, would not be a part of this.
While it's considered part of the fleet, it doesn't necessarily circulate material.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'll just make one final comment before we get a motion here. I was telling John earlier that I was able to read Appendix B, which is the statement of freedom to read statement. And regardless of one's views regarding restricting or controlling stuff, regardless of which side you may be on certain documents and materials that may be available, it was very well written to encompass everyone's feeling if they're going to be fair and honest and open. So I thought it was very important because it is reflected in the policy. And I think that was very good. So with that in mind, and we know it's just a compilation of everything, so it wouldn't be fragmented anymore, and it would be very easy to understand. Do we have a motion to approve the collection development policy?
Also,
Shannon?
Second.
Dolores second. Okay. Dolores second, Shannon moved. Okay? And the motion before the board is to approve the collection development policy for Shreve Memorial Library as presented here. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The collection development policy is approved. The third item on the agenda, you do not have any supporting material for it, and it's the change in the, and so it is a policy change, it's to the additional unpaid holidays that will be granted to the personnel. This is a policy change. And I'd like to ask Mr. Tuggle, because this is really based on the fact that we have changed the Sunday hours, and will be changing them after the first of the year, and this better represents what the library is trying to do in fairness to the employees and the system as a whole. So John, would you explain what we're doing with these additional 2 holidays?
As we move forward with opening all of our full-time branches on Sundays, starting in January, we thought it would be not only helpful for our staffs as a morale booster, but also perhaps acknowledging that 2 of our slowest Sundays of the year are Mother's Day and Father's Day. So we decided we would ask if we might could add those 2 holidays to the holiday schedule in the personnel policy, and that both of them would be unpaid. They would just be closed days, and it would not be considered a paid holiday for anyone. But we are acknowledging that most mothers are someplace else besides the library on Mother's Day, and most fathers are someplace else other than the library on Father's Day, and that many of our staff who are mothers and fathers would like to have those days off instead of work.
When you say unpaid, that's for hourly staff, right? So this wouldn't affect like a,
Oh, exempt employees, we work
right, okay.
7 days, 24/7, but yeah, this would just be, so we would just close, and unlike a paid holiday of Thanksgiving or Christmas, just strictly unpaid, we're just closing the branches.
Okay.
Ms. Dowd?
I think this is a great idea. I'm always want the library open every Sunday. But when will we introduce this to the community? I know we voted on that already. The community needs to know.
Ms. Samantha?
It will go out in December, the
Okay.
second week of December, to give them enough time to get used to it and to bring it in front of them. So we'll have notice in order to announce our time changes in December. We didn't want to do it too early with all the holidays and all the other changes that we were making. So we're going to do it in December, give about a month ahead of time to know that the branch will be open in January on Sunday.
Well, what communication you gonna use?
We'll do press releases and signage at the branches.
Oh, and you're not gonna make a big deal of it?
No, we're gonna make,
Like have a press conference?
I don't know about a press conference, but by the time we get through with the, all the social media, press release, and this, that, and the other. Now, if Ms. Dottie Bell would like us to have a press conference.
I would like the news, you could say, I like for the, like the morning news, and you say, would you going to be open? People need to know that. And, I mean, not that I'm knocking what you're doing now,
No,
but something big
just
like
to
this.
add to that, when we send out the press releases, those go out to all of the television stations, all the radio stations, all the newspapers in Caddo, Bossier, and surrounding areas. So typically what happens is when I send out the press releases, that is when we get the call to go on the morning news. We just sent out the press release a couple weeks ago about the e-notice change, and Melinda Lambert from KSLA called me the same day I sent out the press release to do a story on it. So when I send out the press releases, the television stations are notified, and they typically will pick something like that up. So they will definitely know.
But sometimes if it's, well, not trying to show that any of our media might have a bias, but usually the library only gets big headlines on slow news days. So we kind of, they'll bump us and put us back, this, that, and the other, but we do get our headlines every now and then.
The reason I said
Something
that,
like that, they'll pick it up for the job.
Yeah.
the reason I said that because now that they're testing and ACT and all that's so important. And then when you go back in January, we have a lot of seniors, juniors and all, high school going paper, research paper. They need to know that the library is open during the Sunday. I just think that it's, we'll get it to the, make sure you get to the school board. You see what I'm saying? To me, I think it's a big deal. Maybe nobody else thinks, but I think it's a big deal. That we need to make something special about that. You do in the press conference, or whatever it takes. Because this is for the, and testing started after January, and then seniors have so many reports and everybody. Book report, science report, and just parents, even the little elementary, have science reports to do, science projects. They can work on Sunday now. So I'm just thinking just one big blow of it, you know what I'm saying?
Is this something that could y'all expressly communicate to the school system that this is happening too? Because that's something, we have a relationship with the virtual card. That might be something they could easily put on their website right now.
That's right, that's what they could, it could go on the website.
We can include them in the press release if the press release sends out.
Seeing how we have somebody on the school board, perhaps could help us out a little bit.
Oh, I'm gonna say the next board meeting.
There you go.
But don't say it yet, Samantha. What did I start? I started talking about it in December. But now,
We're all done today.
It's been, we trying to send out the press
Uh,
release.
It's happening.
Talking about it, okay?
I was going to talk about it, tell me when I started. Now, she said, do you have to go
May I
now?
say something else? While we're on the topic of press, I just want to compliment you guys on the press coverage you got. I love seeing the commercials and I love seeing the billboards. I mean, that's just incredible, so.
We're happy you're seen and their notes. Yeah.
Well, right out here on Burke.
Anybody else? Okay, obviously, you're gonna do a blitz and saturate the market with everything available at your disposal. I have sort of an idea, and I don't know if it's workable or not, but even the people that go to the library sometimes don't get the message that maybe there's some changes in hours. Would it be even practical to think of changing the screensavers to a screensaver to say library now open
Definitely.
on Sundays from these hours, and people that sit down at a big terminal would see this and could spread that around, just make it a screensaver? I'd just like to offer that. And if there are no other comments, we'll entertain a motion to adopt a change in policy for the additional unpaid holidays for Sundays. a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second, Dolores, okay. Moved by Neil, second by Dolores to approve the policy change to add the 2 additional unpaid Sunday holidays. And Mr. Tuggle assured me that this will very quickly, if approved, show up in the personnel manual. So that's okay. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Okay, we have the additional policy for the unpaid Sunday holidays. The next item on the agenda, item 6B, is the proposed budget adjustment. And I got a little confused on that one, so I had to ask John about it, because the money we were talking about that would be paid for by the insurance company has to be deposited to the operating reserves or operating account, and not in that account, so it has to come out now and be deposited. I'm going to let John go into details into the contractual services maintenance type budget. Now, for me, exactly what he's talking about now, more checks will be coming in, so they're taking out the entire amount now to also cover the additional $15,000 that would be needed for a better, stronger, more energy efficient roof. So we're really only talking about $15,000, not what it appears to be, $91,000. So when the additional money comes in, which is about $45,000 from the insurance company, it will automatically go back into the operating services budget, so we don't have to do this action again a second time. Am I close, John?
Very close, very close. Susan can correct me on the amounts of the checks. I do believe the first check from the insurance company was $42,000 approximately. And we will not receive the second check for the remainder of the money until we've actually completed. It has to be totally completed. So as you know, with our budget, any monies coming in is automatically just put into the general account, which is the operating fund. And for us to move that money out of that into the specific line item for the maintenance, maintenance and repairs line item under contractual services there. So we have to actually just move the money. It's just an accounting, basically. The money there, we'll have it. And we are putting an additional $15,000 with it that we do have in the budget to get a better roof. So it was hail damage. It's been a while. If you're interested in an interesting story, after the meeting, ask Susan about it. So she'll tell you all the trials and tribulations of getting our new roof at West Shreveport. Okay, quite fun. But again, this is basically just an accounting move.
Okay. And that's all it is, the accounting measure. The numbers all jive. I checked it thoroughly with Mr. Tuggle for the meeting. So, if there are no questions, I think, I have a question. If not, we'll ask for a motion to go ahead and approve the budget adjustment. Dottie moves. Second by Ms. Shannon Hicks. Do we have a motion and a second to approve the requested budget adjustment for 2019 for the replacement of the West Shreveport roof? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Okay, the motion carries. Are they working on the roof now?
They start this week. They've ordered the parts, and they should be starting on it today, tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
They're doing 3 sections as the weather lets them.
They're still in operation though? Meanwhile, or they closed down right now?
The branch is open. We're going to work around the branch. I told them to do their best to leave the branch open, but be safe. So I'm going to watch that.
Okay. I was just kind of curious about that. Okay, we'll move on now. The next item on the budget is the ad hoc nominating committee report from Ms. Doris Lang.
Okay, well, of course, we met on October 11th, and they came in right here, and it was discussed, and the recommendation is that Wade would be the parliamentarian for a period of 1 year. It was to be recommended to the board that Julia Hagan would be the library, continue as the library tuition review person, and that Shannon Hicks would be recommended for vice president for a period of 1 year, and for Neil Johnson to be recommended as president for the year 2020 for 1 year. And is there any discussion? Well, that's not my part.
That's not my part, so that's fine. Does anybody have any questions from we thank the committee for the report. Does anybody have any questions of the committee regarding the recommendation, or does anyone care to place another nomination?
No.
No, nobody else wants to place another nomination? Okay, then, I thank the committee for the report. We'd like to entertain a motion to go ahead and approve.
I'd like to move that our committee report of the committee report and recommendation of the ad hoc nomination committee be approved.
Okay, do we have a second? Second, Ida Bell. And we have the motion before the floor is to approve based on the recommendation of the nominating ad hoc committee, Josephine Wade as parliamentarian, Julia Gahagan as the board representative to the Library Tuition Review Assistance Committee, Shannon Hicks as vice president of the board, and Mr. Neil Johnson II as president of the board for 2020 1-year terms. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations to all of the new members. 4 years. Next item on the agenda.
Is the heater working in here? It's freezing.
I would like to say I'm a little on the warm side.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Oh, no, which way?
Go, do something. You're all around here.
I see who got up, the lady in charge of maintenance and fans and everything.
2 degrees.
Thank you, baby.
Got it.
Okay, we're ready to move on. We're still on item 6, or agenda item number 6, and the 6D, the executive committee report on the director's evaluation. And I'm going to give that one, Dottie, and then you can make the recommendation if that's okay. The executive committee met on Monday, November the 11th at 4 p.m. for 2 reasons. One was to conduct the evaluation, the annual evaluation of the executive director, Mr. John Tuggle. And the second purpose of the meeting was to review the 2020 goals for continued evaluation of the executive director. Immediately after the meeting was open, the committee went into executive session. Board members reviewed the documentation presented by Mr. Tuggle. Mr. Tuggle was asked some questions. He and Kathy were asked to stay for the evaluation. After questions were asked and questions were answered, each of the committee members completed independently an evaluation of Mr. Tuggle, after which all of the scores were combined for an overall score rating. It was decided to give him a strong rating of 89.5, if I remember correctly. So the recommendation of the board, there was a third item that had to be considered, since he was giving, or we're recommending, a favorable evaluation. We came out of the executive committee meeting, and we're recommending that you approve a satisfactory evaluation of 89.5, which is noted as a strong recommendation. Number 2, we're asking for approval of a 1% cost of living raise and the 1% salary increase because of the positive evaluation for Mr. Tuggle beginning January 1, 2020. And number 3, during that meeting, we evaluated the instrument that will be used for the 2020 goals for the evaluation, and we recommended that they be approved. The only change in that was the fact that we added in the capital improvement program, and Mr. Tuggle wanted to be evaluated for the success in phase 1 of that program. That was the only change, and the committee felt it was good. So you have 3 things: satisfactory rating of 89.5, approval of the 1% COLA and the 1% salary increase beginning January 1, 2020, and approval of the 2020 goals for evaluation. Any questions?
If there's no objection, at the appropriate time, I'd like to make a motion to accept all of those.
Okay, any motion?
And well, I move that we accept each of those 3 recommendations that are made.
Second.
Second from Julia. Okay, the motion before the committee is to approve Mr. Tuggle's evaluation with a score of 89.5 as recommended by the committee, to approve the 1% COLA increase and the 1% salary increase beginning January 1, 2020, and to approve the 2020 goals for evaluation form, evaluation sheet as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Tuggle.
Thank you. I will like to state for the record that I'm disappointed that half a point away from excellent. That's all I got to say. No.
I would like to say that that half a point is due to me. And it was an accident. It was that Dottie, I had to laugh about that herself. Some reason right there, I had to point off. We wanted to round up, but Mr. Tuggle said, no, don't round up. I lost my sheet. Let's see your agenda for a second.
If I allowed you to round up, I would not be able to, jokingly give you a hard time about half a point.
Okay, the next item is the proposed meeting for the 2020 regular board meetings. And the only one I had a problem with there, and I may be off base, is the one in March, I think conflicts with the PLA conference.
No, I looked at that. The 24th.
Yeah. PLA's moved up this year. They're actually in February instead of the first couple of weeks of March.
Okay, and I checked when I put what it was not.
I had looked up everything, and I've got a list here if you need to have the dates now for the conferences.
Okay, well, it showed on my calendar, PLA was March 13th through the 3rd, 16th through, I'm sorry, PLA was 20-something.
It's February 24th. PLA's in February.
February
I
24th.
think we got 19 instead of 20 days. So
Okay, maybe.
19
So-
was.
So the PLA is not in conflict, the one in Nashville.
Y'all want to list all these? You want to go ahead and list all these?
No, these are fine, but January 27th, 2020, March 23rd, January 1st, July 27th, September 28th, November 23rd. I did pull out a calendar to see if there's any federal or state holidays to conflict with any of this. I did not see anything.
In November. The 23rd is just as it is this week.
3 years,
The
3 days.
week of Thanksgiving. If you would prefer to go to November 30th instead, we can change that.
I think that's even awkward coming back from vacations
True.
or leaving. I don't know if there is a valid date. But I think that adjustment can be made as you get into November of 2020.
And the reason for June 1st is because of Memorial Day. I'll move it to the next week. You could do that or move it the other way in May.
Okay, I like it, except I thought it conflicted with the Nashville PLA.
Let me go ahead and list those dates for anyone who's interested of the conferences. February 25th through the 29th is PLA. March 25th through the 27th is LLA.
Okay, March 20,
PLA is February.
okay.
March is LLA. April, for those who are attending the TLA conference, is April 15th through the 18th. And ALA is June 25th through the 30th.
That's the one in Chicago.
I don't know where they are actually, but these are the dates.
Say it again.
Okay, which one? All of them? February 25th through the 29th is PLA. March 25th through the 27th is LLA. April 15th through the 18th is TLA. June 25th through the 30th is ALA.
Where's the Texas? Do you have the Texas one?
Yeah, April 15th through the 18th. That's
Texas.
TLA is Texas, Louisiana,
Okay.
Texas Library Association.
It's in Houston, right?
I don't know.
It's either Houston or Dallas.
It's in April or March? I thought it was March 24th.
April is TLA. March is LLA.
So March 24th is not TLA?
No, that is April 15th through the 18th. Now, I went online just today to look those up, so I'm hoping I do have them correct.
But on my paper, when I looked online, it said March 24th. And on the paper I just signed.
Okay, well,
it says March
sometimes
24th.
we have that listed like that so that you can get there in time. So we moved it up to where you could travel a day before.
You said April.
Which one?
I thought you said TLA.
TLA? Yes. April, TLA.
That's Texas, right?
Correct.
April 15th through 18th.
April 15th through the 18th.
Okay, so
Did anyone look it up?
I looked it up and it said March 24th, and on the paper here that I just signed for TLA, because I'm planning to attend, it says March 24th through
Is
27th.
that TLA?
It is March 24th through 27th. TLA
TLA?
2020.
That's why I said that March was the only date that I saw was not acceptable.
March 24th, yeah.
What is LLA?
LLA is during the spring break, it's like the end of March.
I'm making me feel like I can't read.
You had the LLA dates right, that was the 25th and 27th.
Okay.
The TLA, everyone forgot.
The PLA was sort of a conflict.
Will you retire?
Now y'all believe me, I said that March was the only day I had a problem.
Okay, so it's gonna be at the same time as,
No, the 23rd is meeting, the 24th is the conference, unless we're leaving on the 23rd. But, it says 24th through the 27th, I guess we leave on the 24th.
And I knew John was scheduled to go, so I said, he's not gonna wanna go to a board meeting, try and catch a plane and get there on the 24th, so. I wrote down as two alternatives, March 16th and March 30th, were both Mondays as alternatives. Anybody?
Either one of those works for me.
Yeah,
But
they're
is
both-
there a conflict though, if the meeting's on the 23rd and we leave on 24th?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm proposing to change it to March 16th, the Monday before, or March 30th, the Monday after the PLA.
I'm saying that wouldn't be a conflict for me if the meeting's on the 23rd and I leave on the 24th.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to get there.
I'm doing the same thing, so that's why we're proposing moving that March meeting.
Is everybody okay with moving it to March 16th? Are you okay with that? Would you?
Yeah, I'm just, my point was, I don't feel we move it, but I don't see where there is a conflict.
Because he's gotta get on the plane and get there too, so he wants to.
You leave them there?
Yeah, so that's why they're trying to change.
Oh, you're leaving Monday?
16th Or 30th.
Oh, that's, okay.
It might be.
That's the conflict, that you're leaving like that, okay.
Is that okay with
That's
everybody?
on March 16th, mark that out as March 16th.
Put March 16th in,
Okay.
and the rest of them should be okay. So with that in mind, we have before us the proposed, at this point, proposed regular board meetings for 2020, January 27th, March 16th now, June 1st, July 27th, September 28th, and November 23rd. If there's no changes there, we'll take a motion to go ahead and approve this right now.
And I'll make that motion, but y'all hurt my feelings because you made me feel like you thought I couldn't read.
Well, I'm gonna be there with you, so if
That's
you
my
need me.
fault. That's my fault.
No, I'm just saying, I was looking at it, I said, I saw it online, and I'm looking at it on my paper, and then y'all said, where's the next one?
Oh, wait, but as the lawyers, in all fairness, I've said the only thing I saw a conflict with when we started was March 23rd.
You did.
And they said you were,
You did.
so that's
Okay, well,
the date, so.
Okay, wait a minute.
So we'll both cry together.
We'll cry
for the
together.
meeting.
I would like to move that we accept those dates that we just proposed with that particular change of March 23rd to March 16th.
Got a second? Second by Julia. We approve the calendar with the only exception of the March 23rd date being changed to March 16th. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay, we have a proposed calendar for 2020 for regularly scheduled board meetings. Thank everybody. The reports now, Mr. Tucker, we'll go ahead and start with you and get the director's update.
You have my written report. Under goals update, letter D, I don't know how that is going to change. I've seen how the city's 3 bond proposals failed in the election, but I am still, I'm going to be quite stubborn and find some way to work with the city to work on the broadband internet access to what is called the I-49 corridor. Mr. Hanson, who was just recently awarded or appointed, or not really sure. The verb escapes me right now, but he won. Let's just say he won Forbes, or recognized by Forbes as one of the more innovative IT city managers in the nation. We're working to find IT solutions for transparent government, and also doing all of this wonderful stuff on Forbes words, the cheap. And we are working with him also, trying to use various resources that the library and the city have to increase the broadband internet access throughout the city. Kathy says, I promised to make some kind of capital improvement plan update at this point, so let me tell you where we are and what we're doing. Danelle Wrightson, our consulting architect, is out of the country. Is she back yet?
She just got back.
She just got back. She's helping us write the RFQs, city requests that we do for each individual project. And I do believe Jim is still working with the IT department to get a few of our GL account numbers, general ledger account numbers placed in the proper place in our database software that we use for the accounting purposes through the city. It's called Logos. And at this time, we hope right after the holidays to get moving with our committee and put out the RFQs for phase 1 and get started. So that's where we sit right now as far as where the capital improvement program is going. One of the other things I'm not going to steal Sam's thunder. I'll just leave that alone, let her talk about it. I will steal some of Jenny Paxton's thunder to say that we have met with our friends at Holy Angels. They've been approaching us to work with them on some kind of internship program of some sort, so that we can have members from Holy Angels work with us. And our Broadmoor branch has volunteered to be a test pilot for that project. So we're going to have our Holy Angels members, I think, 6 hours a week? About think that'd be a good community partnership that we're kind of proud to work with, even though they had to twist my arm quite a bit to get me to agree to it. There's a whole lot of them and only so many branches, so we have to sit here and start slowly. Yes, ma'am.
My brother is a resident at Holy Angels, and he's the best book putter upper ever. So those residents are going to do an amazing job.
Well, we're working, right now, we're looking at stuff like readers and also working with us on surveys, our customer surveys. And there's a whole list of different duties they can work with us on. So
If you want things kept in order, that's your
there you go. So that's another good partnership. We're looking forward to seeing how it works. And I'm happy with the Grow with Google kickoff. For those of you who didn't get a chance to see that, that was a rather big deal as far as PR goes. Not often you get a sitting U.S. senator to drop in to see how things are going with Grow with Google. So as far as the budget goes, let you know that at the end of October 31st, we should be at like 84%, and I realize the expenditures total says 61%. That's misleading because that includes capital improvement money, so it's probably more accurate to say we're sitting at about 82% of the year's normal expenditures. And as far as our statistical report for the third quarter, circulation back up. We're so happy to see that. Programming numbers are out of the roof. Computer uses are still good. So for 3 quarters of the year so far, statistically, we are moving in the right direction.
Okay, when you say about the bond sale, 3 or more libraries involved in it?
No, ma'am. But a lot of the money that would have been used by the IT department to help work with either mesh networks or Wi-Fi, white space networks, and all the interesting equipment that go with that, that would have been paid for through that bond proposal. So now we're going to have to look at different ways of accomplishing that. There's still quite a few hurdles, but when we had our initial meeting with the city, got one of the things they were looking at trying to accomplish was some of that line money. And they approached us for a partnership, and we were already trying to approach them, so it kind of worked out quite well. And unfortunately, without the bond funds, we're going to have to look at a different way of doing it.
Shannon?
Has acquisitions or anything been affected by the McMillan issue with ebooks?
Oh, yes. You really want to go into that here?
No, I just want to know yes or no if that's greatly affect us.
Well, it will impact all public libraries that offer e-materials at this time, and I haven't read anything in the past 10 days, but the last I heard, most urban library council membership libraries, along with a lot of the Canadians, library systems we're talking about it'd be more than nationwide protest, wouldn't it? It'd be at least 2 nations, possibly others joining in. But at this point, e-books and public libraries are not being very friendly to one another. At least McMillan isn't. So we're hoping others don't follow suit. But we will see.
Well, if I may, Mr. Chair, the McMillan issue is McMillan Publishing Company is postponing its release of ebooks. I have this right now.
What? Yeah, it's an embargo, and I forget how many weeks. Do you
It's
remember?
8 weeks, I think.
8 weeks.
Wow.
Because they can.
No, I mean, I said, wow.
I know
Yeah.
it's,
I just said, wow.
so I know a number of library systems have put out statements, saying that they are against this.
We haven't signed on to the ULC and the UL Canadian statement at this point, but ULC, ALA, and PLA all put out statements for us. So.
This is the oldest can of worms publish, what's the point? They don't want money or something, is that the deal?
You want to try and explain it?
Well, I'm gonna add a different point, but, basically, ebook checkouts are through the roof. If you look at our circulation numbers, they have grown exponentially, in the last few years. And so what they're doing is they're wanting people to pay for the books, more or less. So instead of people checking out the books when they come out through the library system, because that's where people are going to read their ebooks, they're limiting the libraries to purchase only one copy for 8 weeks. And then after that initial 8 weeks, the library can purchase additional copies of those books. But in that first 8 weeks that the book is released, they want people to actually go out and buy the ebook. And I was gonna add to what John was saying earlier. We haven't put out a statement for or against this, in the press, but we have sent out press releases, and I have talked about it in my, newspaper article, to let our patrons who use our ebook services to know that this is coming, so that they are aware and they won't be surprised when it actually goes into effect.
And I can tell you from personal experience that a few of our customers that use the ebooks are not very happy about it. And that wasn't including you two.
I hate to push an old lady out of the way from my new Grisham, but I do. It's my copy.
So, the same thing happened, the similar thing happened with the, what was the Spanish, program we used to have, Rosetta?
Yes.
Remember that similar thing happened where the patrons were able to come to the library and get it, but they wanted to actually sell them to individuals. But then we came up with Mabel Languages, which is a competitor. So are there no competitors?
It's just like,
Well, not for those books.
No.
This is, right, this is just for those books that are published by Macmillan
By Macmillan.
publishers. So other publishers at this time are not imposing this type of
Oh,
embargo.
this is just
So it's only going to affect those books that are published by Macmillan.
Macmillan.
but the unfortunate thing is Macmillan has quite a few of the more popular authors. So they're using that. We're hoping this is not a business model that all the other publishers adopt. And I'm beginning to think Macmillan is regretting making that decision. I don't think they believed there would be that much pushback. There's been a phenomenal amount of pushback. So.
Okay, any more questions for Mr. Tuggle? I would just like to close on your report, just to say one thing. I hope that under your goals updates, item D, that's somewhere in the near future, we are able to bring that broadband access into the impoverished neighborhoods and inner city for free. I think that's really going to be really monumental achievement for the people in those areas.
There are, Mr. Hanson is all for it. In fact, it's unfortunate Lynn left because she was there to see his map. He has this by census grids, and it shows the number of people who have broadband versus the number of people who have dial-up versus the number of people who have no access. And even in the less impoverished neighborhoods, there's still quite a bit of, we try and guess who would have no access at all in those neighborhoods, and then we remember that there are certain individuals who still have AOL, internet dial-up access and email addresses, and are still paying for that type of access. So, and that, there may be some folks, even in the better off neighborhoods, that don't have that, who could benefit. So it's an interesting idea. I'm glad to see somebody else thinking along the same lines as I was. So we'll see what we can do.
I appreciate it. An excellent report as always. Next item on the 7 on the agenda is item 7B, the public service update by Ms. Yelsey Sutton. Oh, there she is. Thank you, Yelsey.
Thank you, Tom. As you can see in my report, branch staff and our programming and outreach team have been busy with programming, one of which featured our very own Neil Johnson at North Shreveport. Thank you, Neil, for helping North Shreveport out at their first annual Freedom Tree Lighting Program on Veterans Day. Additionally, the food amnesty is going on right now and will continue through December 20th, and patrons are taking advantage of those, getting those fines waived. So we're happy to help them and the food bank. And as you can see, Tanisha Edwards, who was the manager at Hollywood, is now the manager at Atkins, and Pamela White is the manager at Hollywood. Other than that, staff members are still programming all the way up and through the end of the year, and the area managers and I have met with all full-time branch employees, and we have Sunday schedules laid out, so everybody is ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to mention that our fellow board member and my friend, Mr. Neil Johnson, was the guest speaker at the North Shreveport Library during Veterans Day. Thank you, Neil, for representing the library and our military. We appreciate it. Congratulations to you. Next item would be, item C would be support services, Ms. Jenny Paxton. Thank you, Jenny.
I just had a few things I was going to highlight from our report. The first is the HR department has now teamed with our outreach team. They often go out into the community and do community fairs and job fairs. And so we thought it was a good partnership for Taylor, who handles our employment process. He goes to these job fairs now, and we're able to offer the people that come like hands-on help with how to fill out our applications and highlighting the vacancies that we often have at the library. And we've had some good response from that. The next thing I wanted to highlight is that in Access Services, our assistant system administrator was able to add features to our catalog, which enables patrons to search by the AR reading level and the Lexile values, which we thought was a huge deal for teachers and parents to be able to. So hopefully that'll be well received. And then I wanted to brag on our Marketing and Development Area Manager, Samantha Bonnet. She was selected to serve as one of 3 panelists for a webinar on library newsletters, and we actually were recognized as having one of the best newsletters, library newsletters in the country.
Congratulations. Any questions?
Now, the AR is what y'all also need to send to the school board to let them know, because that's huge.
May I mention something? At your desk, I put a new support services update report. It's revised from the one that you received in the mail.
And the one thing that was changed on the first report, we were trying to pair with, to partner with the Salvation Army to do angel trees at some of our locations, and just couldn't seem to get their timeline and to get the information from them. So as an alternative, we are actually pairing with the BOA to sponsor some families and the children of those families to help out with Christmas. And I communicated with them this morning. We are sponsoring 23 children who will, they've sent us wish list, and various library staff and branches and departments have all volunteered to adopt those children for the holidays. So that's the program we've got involved in.
Patty?
I was going to bring up, I wish I had known earlier, because me and my friend who's just homeless, there's 2,000 kids, homeless students in Cattle Parish, and we do this thing every year. The homeless students are buying gift cards, so the homeless, the director can go and buy, and they always ask for 2 things. And I wish I had talked to you, you could have sponsored some of those things. And I would go.
Can we plan to do that next year?
Yes, ma'am. I put that on there.
And just for the record, that no library monies will be spent on any of this. Just saying, this is a
Personal thing.
we are all just doing this as a community.
And last year we turned it, we did like $5,000.
Any other board member, any comments or questions? Okay, thank you, Jenny. Very good. Exciting stuff happening all around the library right now. Next item on the agenda is financial services and risk management. Ms. Susan Thornberry. Susan?
want to highlight two things. The first was our workers' compensation. We had already received a dividend of almost $19,000, which was lovely. And then they declared an unusual mid-year dividend of almost $48,000, which means we paid $20,000 less than the dividends we received for our insurance. In other words, our insurance was free and they gave us $20,000 on top of it. The way it worked out, because they were so profitable and had good operations, that's an unusual year. That doesn't happen every year, but that
That's
was very,
unusual.
very exciting. So we're doing really well with our insurance. And the other thing I wanted to highlight, been working on this for a while with the Northwest Louisiana Master Gardeners Association. And we had submitted an application, the maximum was $10,000. We asked for $10,000. They came back and suggested we redo everything and asked for $5,000, so we did that. Took them in, and they came back and said, we're going to give you $3,000. I think they're trying to spread the love among as many organizations as possible. So we're very excited to get the $3,000, and so in March or April, whenever the appropriate planning time is, we will beautify the very front of the Broadmoor Library and make it more attractive. But I plan to make this an ongoing thing every year, to take various library branches, one a year, and just see if we can get grants.
That's good.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Question,
Neil?
what's the status of Oil City?
We'll see what.
Branch, Oil City Branch, what's the status?
As we heard, they're waiting on the payment from the insurance company.
You would have to ask Old City.
We're not actually responsible for the maintenance of the building or any of that.
It's their claim.
Yeah, it's their insurance and their claim, so we are patiently waiting on them to do what they want, so.
We had to react and save our books and save our computers and save things and box them up and work with them. And now we're just waiting to hear from them again to where we can, unbox and put things back in the home.
Okay, anyone else? I'd just like to note that there seems to be a glow about you when you talk about extra money.
Spirit.
And you too, Tom.
Thank you. Did any of that equate to a bonus for the board members or anything? Jim, you're the only one that hasn't had an opportunity to say anything. Did you want to say something today?
No, I don't want to say anything.
He doesn't want to say anything,
We're going
okay.
in the right direction. And
That's a wise
things
man.
look pretty good financially. The report's a little bit, like John said, off because, we haven't spent much in that one area. Also, personnel tends to be, they charge it, the first payment in January back to the year before. So we usually end up with 5 or 6 weeks, at least 5 in December, and normally up to 6. And when a week cost us, with all the personnel things, almost $200,000. So,
Wow, okay.
it looks a lot better in that case than it will end up being. We're still within the guidelines.
Thank you and Susan for taking care of the floor of the mic. We appreciate it. I have one more. I'm coming to it.
Major accomplishment you want to brag on.
Okay, item 7E, a report from Samantha on the ad hoc Treatment Memorial Library Board Foundation Committee report.
Well, the foundation committee, the board has been making progress. We met with attorney Malcolm Murchison in early part of November, who helped us to go over the bylaws. It was a very productive meeting. After that, the board looked at the bylaws again and revised them even more. So they have officially revised and voted on and passed bylaws for the foundations. I was also able to set up a bank account for the foundation on Friday, and the foundation has already raised $760. We are moving, our next step is to get the 501c3 status.
Well, we know a number of people have worked very hard on this. It took a little time, but once it's well established, I have a feeling we're going to reap some great benefits through publicity and money for the foundation. That's great. Thank you for all your hard work on that. I think a lot of people want to applaud. That means you got to keep it up.
I know, pressure.
Okay. Our next scheduled board meeting will be next year in 2020 on January the 27th. But before we close the meeting, let me just say this. This concludes my 5th year of serving on the Board of Trustees and my 2nd year as serving as the President of the Board. And I would just like to say, since this is my last official act as President, to thank all my board members, those here and those not here, for all the support that you've given me, all the encouragement for the past 2 years. I've enjoyed working with all of you. I'd like to also thank you to the staff that's here, the administration that's here, and all of those that may be watching through the live feed, for all the hard work that I can see Marcus back there, for all of the hard work they do, all of the professional work they do in serving the people of the Caddo community, from the youngest to the oldest, and all the activities that they provide. So it's been my pleasure and honor to serve the board, and I thank all of you. With that, we're taking a motion to adjourn. So moved by.
Second.
Move in a second. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All those opposed? No. Meeting is adjourned.
I'd like to wish everybody a happy